We're going to be discussing a black man, ADOS FBA, who is upset and fed up that these immigrants are coming to America and they are getting treated better than us people that built this country. I cannot believe y'all gonna allow and y'all gonna treat these immigrants that just came here and you guys are gonna treat them better than the people who are the foundation of America and who have built this country. I cannot believe you. You get what you vote for. This is what you voted for.
When you think about liberal politics, there's a few cities you gotta think about. Number one to me is San Francisco. I believe we know why. Then there's Los Angeles, and then there's New York City, then there's Chicago, and almost any black city, Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, and oh, by the way, Atlanta. But when you think about the Northeast, you never really think about Boston, Massachusetts. And yeah, Boston, Massachusetts is known for a few things. Well, the New England Patriots, there's the Boston Celtics. Wait a minute. There's also Harvard, there's Boston College, there's MIT, there's Boston University. It's known as the epicenter of high academic education and achievement, but it's also very liberal. Very democratic with many policies that mirror the same things that you see in Chicago, LA, and New York City. But what does this have to do with anything? I'm glad you asked that question. Because there's a viral video of a homeless man, African American, who's trying to get into a migrant shelter. But more on that later. Let's get back to voting practices and voting policies. My brother Search for Uhuru has been talking about this quite regularly on this channel. Make sure you go over there and check it out. And when African Americans are looking for policies from Democrats, we never really ask intelligent questions. Here's a clip of Roland Martin asking Hillary Clinton something very stupid.
That is it for us. I do gotta ask you, do you know how to wobble?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know how to wobble?
And then when we have issues that are really keen to us or are very important, I don't know, like reparations. It's something that's a very big thing to us as blacks. And Kamala Harris understands that. I mean, she went to Howard University, right? But when, you ask her about reparations, what does she say?
Do you support reparations for black people?
Listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans.
No.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society.
Trickle down.
Let's be clear about that.
Trickle down.
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Okay, hold on. I missed the part. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me rewind it. Hold on. Let me rewind it. Hold on. Here we go. My favorite.
Let's really be clear about that.
Look at the eyes.
So I'm not gonna...
Look at the eyes. Like, how dare you? How dare you ask me or question me about doing something specifically for the Black community? How dare you? Hold on. Here's my favorite part. Roll that neck, Kamala. Let them know.
That. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
No.
because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
Wow, looks like she isn't even concerned one bit about what will happen with reparations when it comes to African Americans. Not even concerned, and frankly, in my own personal opinion, could care less. But it's all right. She's now the Vice President of the United States, largely being supported by those in the Black community because, sad music. Go ahead, girl. Girl, you doing Miss Thing, girl. You got you a white husband and you the Vice President. Black girl magic. Right. But let us continue on this journey. Let's get back to this Boston man that is homeless. Again, the migrant crisis is affecting a lot of liberal cities, LA, but in particular New York and Chicago. Well, the reason why is because Joe Biden said that one of his first things he was concerned with was immigration. Let's play the clip.
In your first 100 days as president, what will you do to create a pathway to citizenship for many undocumented immigrants?
I'm going to send a legislative immigration reform bill to Congress to provide a roadmap to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants who contribute so much to this country, including 1.7 million AAPI. My immigration policy is built around keeping families together, modernizing the immigration system by keeping families, unification, and diversity as pillars of our immigration system, which it used to be. Ending Trump's cruel and inhumane policy at the border to rip children from their mother's arms. Take immediate action to protect dreamers, including the more than 100,000 eligible dreamers from East and South Asia. Rescinding the un-American Muslim ban immediately. Restoring refugee admission in line with the values and historic leadership of our country, raising the target to a minimum of 125,000 people a year.
That's right. Immigration is important. Whereas Donald Trump was trying to shut the wall down, Biden wants to open things up for a great reason. The Democrats are losing their numbers. Well, the way they're acting, it seems to be the case. So what they want to do is get more people into the country to become Democratic. And when they do, well, they'll show their loyalty to the Democratic Party. So these migrants and these safe havens for migrants, it's good for them. A lot of people in the Black community don't necessarily feel that way. And here's that infamous clip of this African American who's homeless. Here's what he has to say.
Can't afford to live here, but y'all gonna bring some other motherfuckers here? That doesn't add up. It doesn't make no sense. None. I'm homeless. I work a full-time job, 40 hours, and can't pay to live here. How the y'all gonna bring somebody else here? Don't make no sense. None.
Oh yeah, this isn't the first time I've heard this. You see, here we have a homeless man who works 40 hours a week. He pays taxes, but he wants to get some help at a homeless shelter. He's pushed away because that homeless shelter is for migrants. Let's think about that. You have an American, a citizen in the country. He works, he pays taxes. He is not allowed to access the services of someone who doesn't pay taxes, but uses tax dollars. That's interesting. Well, then why is anybody paying taxes in America then if you're just gonna let people come out of America and use your resources? Shouldn't taxes be used to do things like, I don't know, keep up the infrastructure in these cities, pay for education, fund the military? Yeah, but it's not. It's going to the migrants who some, I would believe, maybe not there illegally, but it's okay. They're getting a safety net. But here's what Dynas is going to point out right now.
I mean, I'm not trying to laugh, but it's like, this is what you voted for. And that's why I keep saying the whole, we got to remind everybody how we built this country and suffered. It's just, it's a pointless argument at this point. This is what you guys voted for, okay? Black folks wanted to get rid of the orange man. Joe Biden said, okay, but I'm not going to do anything for you guys. My top priorities are going to be immigration and the alphabet community. That's what he said.
You see, that's harsh, right? But let's be honest. You voted for it. You voted for this. I don't mean you personally, but if you voted Democrat in any time in the last 20 years, you voted for it. It's not like he lied and said he was going to give you reparations. We all knew that Joe Biden wasn't going to do that. And we knew Kamala Harris wasn't going to do that. But we do know they were very interested in a few things: more support for the LGBTQ and migration. And they're doing what they said they're going to do. And in some places, blacks helped them get elected a lot, like in Michigan, Georgia, and Atlanta area. Yeah, anything but Trump. And I get it. All of these people don't like blacks, in my honest opinion. But the thing is, there is no voting in your own interest. It's voting because, well, you're being told to vote this. And now it comes back to haunt you and you're dissatisfied. This is what happens when the African American community or anybody black doesn't have an agenda, and you don't spend money on your agenda to enforce it on somebody to do what they're supposed to do. You're not spending money, you don't have an agenda, you're voting, you're mad because these things are happening, and when they happen, all you go back and do is vote Democrat again. So good play. But it just continues to show us that the more we talk about these things, the more we need to work together. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of Kenganda. I'm out.